I want to speak on a brother found hanging from a tree at Delta State University in Mississippi, a brother by the name of Trey Reed. Now, the authorities is trying to rule our brother's death as a suicide, and we on the black grassroots ain't buying that. We know it most certainly got foul play written all over it, and the dirty hands of the racist white supremacists written all over it. Now, of course, this comes on the heels of, that white supremacist Charlie Kirk being taken up out of here. Several HBCUs, have been targeted, with threats by the racist white supremacists. And this Delta State University, from, me looking up and doing my due diligence on things, it got a long-standing history of anti-black racism. You know what I mean? And the white supremacists on the right, they on high alert right now because they took a major loss, with this Charlie Kirk thing. They looking to get their lick back, and they going after people's jobs who put out who Charlie Kirk really was, and paint the real picture in its full totality of who just who Charlie Kirk really was. And that ain't nothing more than a racist white supremacist, who built his whole career and platform, of speaking and denigrating black folks. And that's a bunch of nonsense. You know what I mean? Now they trying to, pass laws and everything, and target people's jobs if you put out who Charlie Kirk really was. And, Jimmy Kimmel even got, fired from his show, as of recently, for telling the truth on Charlie Kirk. And that's a bunch of nonsense because Charlie Kirk, himself said he stood for freedom of speech. Now we exercising our freedom of speech and, in opposition of, the false narrative, the false picture they want to paint on Charlie Kirk being this, good, upstanding citizen who loved and cared for everybody. He stood for, change, which is a bunch of nonsense, and now when we put out the truth on who he really was, the white supremacists want to have a hissy fit, and damn that, you know what I mean? Now our brother, I digressed, our brother Trey Reed, getting back to him, as far as our brother Trey Reed, he had been being targeted, racially targeted on this campus, sometime from me doing my little homework and due diligence before he was found hanging from that tree. You know what I mean? And that's a bunch of nonsense. So I got the audio and the video of our brother Trey Reed, being, hung from a tree, and they trying to rule our brother's death as a suicide, which I ain't buying it. If for sure as hell got the dirty hands of the racist white supremacists, written all over it. And we going to walk through and talk about this thing how we normally do, family. Fair use.
And now to news developing out of Mississippi, where a coroner's office is maintaining that there is no evidence a young black man was attacked before he was found dead on the Delta State University campus.
Now Trey Reed's family.
And every time brothers and sisters is found hanging from a tree, the authorities try to, close the case fast and, rule it as a suicide. And we ain't buying that because black folks don't hang themselves. The dirty racist white supremacists done this, but let's continue.
Is ordering an independent autopsy. Now, a warning, some of you may find this story triggering. The 21-year-old was found hanging from a tree on campus Monday morning. The coroner says a preliminary exam shows no signs of broken bones or assault, but Reed's mother told local reporters that she questions what happened to her son. She says she spoke to her son Friday, and he was excited to attend the university. The family says the school has not reached out to them, and they're getting information secondhand from the media.
As we move forward, we're just looking for answers that a simple camera on the university's campus.
Yeah, this is a campus, so for sure as hell got cameras, you know what I mean? And they need to, make them, camera footage available, so we can see, what really happened to our brother, you know what I mean? But let's continue.
We'll answer.
We are so concerned about what's going on. We're getting mixed information. We're hearing everything on the media. So we just want the truth. That's all we're looking for.
Reed was a first-year student and had only been on campus for 1 month when he was found dead. Authorities initially ruling this a suicide. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump is leading an investigation into Reed's death, though. He says Trey Reed was deeply loved and respected by those who knew him, and added Reed's family and the campus community deserve a full
I wish, black folks, stop letting this opportunist, money-making opportunist, Ben Crump, get involved with the case. You know what I mean? Because he ain't, looking for nothing but a dollar sign. I don't think, Ben Crump is on the up and up. Every time, something, happens in black society, he's always the one covering the case. I think it's something more to that. He ain't nothing but a money making opportunist rather, if you ask me. But let's continue.
Independent investigation to uncover the truth about what happened. We cannot accept vague conclusions when so many questions remain. The NAACP posted an image saying a man was lynched yesterday in a post about Trey Reed. The organization
I agree with that. This for sure as hell was a lynching, but let's continue.
Expressed skepticism that there was no evidence of foul play in Reed's death and wrote, "Our people have not historically hung ourselves from trees."
And now to
Yeah, I agree with that. That for sure as hell got the dirty hands of the racist white supremacists written all over it. But in closing, brothers and sisters, if you on them campuses, make sure you stand in large groups, of people, even carrying pepper spray, self-defense devices, mace, and even, take some self-defense classes if you got to on hand-to-hand combat, because the racist white supremacists, all roads lead back. They trying to tie us in black society, to this whole Charlie Kirk thing, you know what I mean? And HBCUs left and right, black students are, being targeted with threats by the racist white supremacists. So just make sure you're looking out for your fellow brother and sister, traveling in large groups and packs, don't be alone, after dark, because the racist white supremacists don't play fair. They looking to get their lick back with the whole Charlie Kirk thing and tie us to it when they got to do some, that was an in-house job done by, Charlie Kirk's fellow white supremacist brethren, you know what I mean? And in closing, I just want to also say, RIP to our brother Trey Reed, and my condolences goes out to his friends and family, but this for sure as hell wasn't no case of suicide. Black folks don't hang themselves from a tree, and most certainly got the dirty hands of racism, white supremacy written all over it. Peace.